from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, November 5th. So today we have the moon in Leo all day, and of course we're building towards the last quarter moon taking place in this Leo energy, which means that we are at a particular, we'll call it crisis point, reflection point, if you will, aha moment point, as we kind of take a spin around, reflect back over this past month, all that we've learned, all that we've experienced, and highlighting what it is that we still have to figure out. The Leo energy is meant to remind us what our heart and our soul are asking us to pursue, what truly makes us happy, where it is that we have this new outlet, this new identity in order to express our new vibrations, our new frequencies. Now, a lot of this is tapping into new creative and creator type of energy, but of course, we still have a little bit more time to go before we're going to be able to put that into action. But the last quarter moon is a revelation of sort. We are still kind of processing by looking back and being reflective who and what needs to stay, needs to go, and of course, we are heart and soul led. So there are 9 different aspects here today, 6 of them going to involve the moon. The moon in Leo is going to semi-square Venus. Venus, of course, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money. She is in Virgo energy, not her most favorite place to be, but lending us some very, very strong tools to really analyze and dissect our emotions, our new values, our new priority system by weeding out what it is, again, that needs to stay, needs to go according to our heart space. This is a good reflection back to about, let's say, July, August, when we had Venus retrograding through this Leo energy that the moon is currently in. And we had some epiphanies on where it is that we had to get real and raw and vulnerable with ourselves and really get in alignment with who and what makes us happy and what it is that we want to pursue. We kind of lost that path, lost that direction. We got consumed with energy, with emotions, with circumstances. So Virgo energy, being the problem solver of the zodiac, definitely gave us a very interesting vibe over the last couple of weeks to kind of move into that heart space and be semi-detached from it so that we can analyze it without becoming so overwhelmed and consumed with our emotions that we kind of lose the focus that we had a couple of months ago. The moon interacting with Venus in this way is definitely creating a little bit of friction, a little bit of a tension point, because many of us are not doing the things that we need to do, especially in our day-to-day life, making those smaller adjustments in order to kind of align with this new path, with this new passion, with this new pursuit, with this new creative force energy that 100% wants to be expressed. So the disconnect is coming because emotionally speaking, we do feel fired up and passionate about making some serious changes and really pursuing a new path of passion, of desire. But of course, in our physical realm, there are still obstacles that are preventing us from truly launching on this path. And this is the time, the energy, the place to realize what those particular blockages are, how either attached or detached we are to them in the here and now. And again, analyzing, dissecting how it is that we can fix, heal, and repair some of the situations, some of the circumstances that are blocking us from making this change, making this transformation, and really setting our sights on a new path of passion and of desire. So 3:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the moon in Leo getting into the boxing ring, fighting it out, squaring with the sun in Scorpio. This is what gives us our last quarter moon in Leo energy. So of course, Leo energy, it's a fixed fire sign, while Scorpio energy is a fixed water sign. Fire energy is great for kind of burning through the cords that really have us connected to the past and attached to the old elements that, of course, we're looking to move away from. The fire energy is very bold, very brave, very courageous, very creative, very inspiring and motivating. The fixed water energy is stabilizing. But of course, in Scorpio energy, we have to do a deep dive in the darkest parts of ourselves to identify the blockages, the programming, the conditioning, preventing us from truly kind of closing the door on some particular aspects of self, of the old reality, and of course, clearing out those obstacles so that we can go ahead, we can make that change, make that transformation, and start aligning with what our heart is asking us to pursue. Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire in his rulership in Scorpio energy, is going to make an uncomfortable interaction with Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. He's retrograde in Aries energy, really showing us the parts within ourselves that are creating the blockage, the funk, if you will, preventing us from emerging as this new version of self, from feeling prepared and well equipped to take this new identity and challenge and role and responsibility on. We are definitely going to be put in a situation where we start doubting our abilities to actually make this change, to actually go after what it is that we want. Many people not even knowing at this point what it is that they want. They just know what they don't want. And of course, that's only the starting point of the framework in which you have to explore to figure out what it is that you're being asked to pursue. So because we're kind of in this doubting phase of our own selves, of our own abilities, of our own energy and efforts, this is definitely going to put us in a little bit of a funk. Mars, when aspected in not a nice way, can definitely get us irritated and frustrated and angered and just overall just very defensive. We are having a hard time at this particular juncture. We are so close to closing the door on this eclipse season, on this eclipse energy. We just had Saturn, the Lord of Karma, go direct. He hasn't been moving forward yet, so we're a little bit at a standstill. And Mars, who prefers to take action and make moves, he doesn't enjoy this standstill. He doesn't enjoy the confusion. He doesn't enjoy doubting himself. He doesn't enjoy any of this inner realm back and forth seesaw that we seem to be doing at this particular point in time. It makes us feel like we have this pent up energy, like we have to give it an outlet, like we have to take action and make moves, but we don't have a path, a plan, a strategy put in place to do any of those things. So instead, we're just kind of bouncing around like a pinball machine. Again, it's a good idea to engage the physical body in projects and tasks and chores that, of course, help to clean up the environment, make you kind of feel like you have a sense of control in your life, because of course there's many areas in which we don't. And because of this, we do have to give that physical body a healthy outlet to get some of this, I'm going to call it pinball energy, from bouncing around, and instead give it a focus. Now, just keep in mind that we are easily agitated, and other people are easily agitated as well. So because of that, there is this underlying, I'm going to say, just on the edge, waiting for somebody to look at us the wrong way, say the wrong thing to us, and it could very much set us off. And we want to be aware of that reactive pattern and behavior. We want to be able, if we find ourselves in that kind of trigger and activation, to nip that programming in the bud, so to speak, to flip the script, to write a better narrative, and to give it a different energy than the energy which our normal patterns and behaviors would have us kind of acting out upon. Now, Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, and how it is that we express ourselves in Scorpio energy, is going to make a positive interaction with Chiron shortly thereafter, which means that, we find ourselves in a funk. We find ourselves in this state of agitation, but Mercury swoops in and, of course, examines those dark narratives, those dark dialogues, really kind of flip the script by doing a deep dive in our psyche, understanding where this programming, where this conditioning came from. And of course, once you're aware of it, you can override it. This is the Scorpio energy, by a true transformation of our thought processes, by realizing where the heaviness, where the weight is, where it stemmed from. And of course, when you have that realization, you have the power, you have the control to flip the script. So having Mercury interact with Chiron in this way, this is growth. This is healing. This is changing perspective, changing emotion due to that perspective, and flipping the script in a very positive way that has us in a stance of overcoming. Through, again, frustration, agitation, and maybe even anger, we know that we can't continue this. We know we don't want to be sucked down to these lower vibrations, these lower frequencies. So we do have the ability to kind of realize where these, I'm going to say, anchor points of frustration are really being kind of originating from, and we can tackle that. We can improve that. We can better that. We can flip the script. We can change the narrative, and it definitely puts us in a very different position. The moon in Leo goes ahead and trines Chiron right after. So a trine is a beautiful interaction. It's the energies harmonizing together in order to give us a gentle nudge in the right direction where there are changes to be made, where there is a transformation taking place. Emotionally speaking, again, the moon in Leo energy, we need to be bold. We need to be brave. We need to be courageous enough to stand in our own power, even if it means standing alone. We have new creative energy. We have new thoughts, new ideas, new motivations. And because Chiron is a factor, we are really growing in our optimism, growing in our confidence. We are picking ourselves up. We are dusting ourselves off, especially compared to the earlier narratives of the day. We are really kind of pushing ourselves in the right direction, understanding where it is that we are making changes within ourselves, even if it's a small change in kind of your emotional realm or your mental realm, preventing yourself from falling victim to the same patterns and behaviors, the same emotional outbursts that you may have once had in the past that now you're bringing into your awareness, and you're essentially flipping the script and choosing a higher vibration and frequency in order to react and respond to your current environment. The moon is then going to get into the boxing ring, though, and square off with Mars. Now, this is not going to feel good. It's almost like we've been doing this building. We've been getting ourselves out of a funk. We've been changing the narrative. We've been exploring the depths of our darkness in order to change it into power. And then all of a sudden, we get ourselves in such a rut because of the energy building within us that we're just vibrating. We don't know what to do with it. Of course, emotionally speaking, we want to kind of go out in the world and do what we got to do. Mars is definitely backing that particular energy. However, we know, again, Scorpio energy, we just know that we can't. We're not ready. We don't have a path. We don't have a plan. We don't have a strategy. We have this overwhelming feeling that we want to take action, make moves, and actually go out in the world and kind of flip tables. But we just know that we aren't ready. We're not gifted with the green light go ahead to do so. And of course, this is going to bring up a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of restlessness, a lot of agitation. And it may feel like we're back in the same boat that we started the day off in. However, we're not. So don't let that particular delusion fool you. What we're doing here is we're continuing to unearth the aspects of ourselves that don't feel like we have power, don't feel like we have control. And of course, the elements that we don't actually have power and control over in our physical realm, we need to identify that issue, and we need to kind of pivot and pour our energy, our time, our attention into things that we actually have control over until we're gifted with that green light go ahead to start fresh, to start new. Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings, who's retrograde in Taurus energy, again, the physical realm, the physical body, routine, structures, relationship dynamics, money matters. We've been retrograde. This is an internalized energy for us to explore the inner growth that we are kind of going through in understanding where it is that we've created a realm and a reality that maybe at one point ticked off all the boxes for our particular wants, needs, and desires, but now it's leaving a lot of room for new passions, for new desires, for new opportunities to be created within. So Jupiter is going to be semi-squaring Neptune. Neptune, of course, he's retrograde in his place of power in this Pisces energy. This is our spirituality. These are soul contracts. This is imagination. This is dream dream time. This is the metaphysical realm that we gain our insights from, our intuition from, the higher realms of intelligence that downloads us with aha moments, with visions, with inspiration, with dreams, in order for us to pursue those things. Well, Neptune has been retrograde in this Pisces energy, which means that we're not able to kind of live in la la land the way that we would like to. We have to deal with reality, and many of us don't want to do that. Many of us would prefer to bury our head in the sand, curl up in a ball, stay in the fetal position until this particular hardship kind of passes. Well, we can't do that. We have to examine what it is that we have to clean up, what we have to close the door on, what we have to put behind us in order for us to be able to kind of start new, visualizing a new dream, a new path for us to actually manifest. So Jupiter semi-squaring with Neptune, this is the second of a three-part interaction, if you will. We had the first one back July 22nd. This is the second one, and the third one will complete this little trio aspect in March of 2024. So this is a longer term influence, and of course, because they're both heavy hitting planets and have a lower, slower, and far away orbit, it is not as, I'm going to say, impactful as maybe some of the inner planets would be. So this is kind of like this is a long-term life lesson. This is a long-term aspect that we are looking to refine with all of these different encounters. So what we're kind of getting here is that there is a lot of hopes and wishes and dreams and wants, needs, and desires for inspiration, for motivation that we just are looking for in the wrong places. Like Jupiter in this Taurus energy is as real as you can get in this 3D realm, in this ego avatar, in this dense earthly plane. But the Neptune and Pisces energy, that is just dreams and hopes and wishes and imaginary land. And so there's this dynamic where we have unrealistic dreams or expectations, where we have dreamed such a big dream that now we're setting ourselves up for a little bit of a disappointment with the reality checks coming at us because it's just not logical, just not practical, just not achievable in the time frame with the particular aspects, the preparedness situation that we're currently in. It's just not achievable. And that's not to be a Debbie Downer. That's to be, I'm going to say, striking a balance, which is what we're here to do, between having dreams and visions, having hopes and wishes, but also having the logic and practicality to keep us kind of rooted down to earth in this earth plane on what it is that we actually believe we can accomplish. And so, you know, it never hurts to dream the biggest dream possible, but you have to dream the biggest dream possible, knowing damn well that you're going to have to refine that dream into a logical, practical strategy, and that there may be many parts needed in order to actually grow in alignment to the path, to the plan in which your great big dream and vision is leading you upon. So there's a little bit of a disappointment. There's a little bit of a confusion. I would say that the ability to be rooted and grounded and down to earth and logical and practical is not our strongest suit right now. And mostly because to be grounded in this physical body on this earth plane, well, it freaking hurts right now. It sucks. Take a look around. It is not an enjoyable place. It is not an enjoyable energy. It hurts to be in this physical body most of the time, and that's why many of us have kind of resorted to living in la la land. Hopes and wishes and dreams, hoping just on a whim that, you know, some kind of piece of our vision and our dream is going to swoop in and knock on the door and make life a little bit more tolerable again. What we're missing is action. What we're missing is plans and strategy. What we're missing is some real good down-to-earth planning. And so this is going to be an illumination, because again, if you want to kind of rewind to July, a lot has happened, and we are emerging as brand new selves, and we are currently waiting for the karmic cards to fall to see what hand that we're dealt, what timelines we're jumping into, what soul contracts will now be unfolded for us. We won't know until the new moon in Scorpio, November 13th. So right now, we are so discombobulated. We are so disorganized. We are not in alignment with ourselves. We're all over the place. And this is creating a further fog, if you will, another layer of fog and confusion over actual practical dreams, visions, goals. And so there is I'm going to say, huge disappointment coming at us right now because we realize where it is that we've set ourselves up for disappointment by having too big, too grand of expectations, of goals, of visions, of dreams. Not all is lost. We are just moving into a time where many adjustments are going to need to be made in order to refine that big vision, that big dream. So the moon in Leo goes ahead and makes a positive interaction to Neptune shortly thereafter. And what this does is it's a little bit of a reminder, a refresher to not only our heart space, but to our higher selves on what we're actually passionate about, what we actually want to pursue, where it is that the creative energy, the inspiration, the imagination is still alive and well in us, but we have to be a little bit more logical and practical with bringing that energy into the heart space, into this new identity, into this ego avatar, and actually get to work taking actions on being able to bring these particular dreams and visions into realization. The last thing that we got going on here today is the moon in Leo energy squaring, getting into the boxing ring with Uranus. So Uranus is the great awakener. He is retrograde in this Taurus energy. Normally, if this was a positive aspect, we would be receiving huge, profound aha moments and insights right now that will totally change the game and give us a new path, a new plan, a new understanding on where it is that we need to move forward and what it is that we need to change in our physical realms in order to actually proceed. Well, this is a square. This is not giving us any kind of clarity, any kind of aha moment. It's not giving us any kind of path or direction. Instead, we're going to amplify the confusion. We're going to amplify the fear, the doubts, the insecurities that we're currently having about making the changes that we know that we have to make. This is the pivotal point in time, again, because we're nearing the end of eclipse season and we're about to jump into a new cycle. This is the time where, again, we're going to be bombarded with choices. Are you going to evolve or are you going to revolve? This is a particular choice point. Just when we capture a vision and a dream, just when we're building ourselves back up, that dark force energy is going to creep in through that egoic programming and tell us why maybe we should just make peace with our current circumstances. Maybe we should just settle, if you will. Maybe we should just stop thinking about being better and improving and evolving and just live in this present moment as happy or as sad as it may be. That is the narrative coming over. That is the illusion coming over. That is the emotion coming over us. And of course, it's setting us up for some very interesting aspects here throughout this week.